Yo, what is poppin', guys? It is your boy Ashley, and today we are back with another little bit of IBL action. This is week 8. We are facing Shady, coach of the Buffalo Drills, which I don't know if I ever told you this, Shady, but that is a clean logo. I am a huge fan of it. You guys will definitely see it on the thumbnail, and you should definitely check out his channel down below. I'm actually very eager to see what he has to say about our game, because this was a pretty fun one. It was a long one. As you can see, it's 21 minutes. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, but just to start off, we're going to go ahead and talk about what I brought. Shout out to Eric, aka Heavy Metal Pokemon, he built this entire team this week. I did not build this team, he built it for me, so I'm just going to fire through this prep real quick. We have Z-Snatch Crocodile with Dark EMZ, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Iron Tail. This hits everything on his team. He does have a Clefable, which is why we went Iron Tail. Obviously, had I known that he would not bring the Clefable, I would have gone with a different move in that move slot. Possibly something to hit the Shaman, or possibly something to hit the Milotic. But you can obviously never know what they're going to bring, and Clefable posed a pretty large problem to my team if it starts setting up, so that was just better safe than sorry. Also, this whole set was intended to snatch the wish from Clefable. This is Moxie Crocodile, so I was going to come in, not show Intimidate, lead him to believe that I was Scarf, fire off an Earthquake or a Knockoff or something, and then have him switch into Clefable, and then immediately hit Z-Snatch, because if he were to go for the wish, it would mean that he did not get the wish, and we did, bringing us back up to full health, raising our speed by 2, and then Iron Tail would be able to knock it out, depending on how much damage I did with the move before. So that was a nice little set. I obviously love Z-Snatch Crook. Z status moves are some of my favorite. So, and I think this is the only league I'm in that actually allows them. So, gotta use them when you can. We also have our Cradilly here. This has leftovers with Storm Drain, Stealth Rock, Recover, Substitute, Giga Drain. I mean, fairly standard Cradilly set with just Substitute over Toxic, because if we can get a sub up, it pretty much guarantees us a free Recover or a free Giga Drain, etc. You guys know what that does. I'm not going to go too in depth about it. So Bulk Up, Mega Gallade with Poison Jab, Close Combat, and Knockoff. This is going to be able to let us live hits from the Beedrill. It's going to let us live hits from pretty much anything that doesn't have stab on the physical side. So I like this set a lot. Poison Jab obviously hits things like Shaman and the Clefable that didn't come, whereas Knockoff at +1 will almost always knock out a Mega Beedrill, which was my main concern about this set in particular. So not bad at all. We have Celesteela with the Iron Plate, Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, Protect, Toxic. You guys all know the set. It's very effective, especially against a guy like Shady who likes to bring Toxic. Like, this game, as you can see, it's 21 minutes long. It's like 50-something turns. This is by far the longest game I've played on Wi-Fi in the Draft League format, which is why I'm trying to speed up the video a little bit. I don't want you guys to be waiting around all the time. But Shady, he plays fat, and he plays slow, and he plays methodical. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to try and match him at that game, because if I went all-out offense, I don't think I have a chance to win this game. Next up, we have Goodra with the Assault Vest, Draco, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, T-Bolt. Hits everything on his team, so that's really, really nice. Goodra has been such an awesome Pokemon for me this season. I really, really enjoyed using it. Basically, every Pokemon I brought here, minus maybe Cradilly, I've been a huge fan of how they've operated for me, so finally, we have Arcanine with the Muscle Band, Bulldoze, Flare Blitz, E-Speed, Iron Head. Easy. Hits everything on his team that he brought for super effective damage, except for the Swellow. And oh, I guess we don't have Wild Charge, so we can't hit the Milotic either. But obviously, we brought Iron Head, not knowing about Clefable. Again, had I thought that he wouldn't bring Clefable, then this matchup, I could have made this matchup a lot more in my favor with just changing move slots on Crocodile and Arcanine. But obviously, as I said, you don't know. So we're just going to go ahead and start the game. Start it off right. I'm going to turn down my volume. I'm also going to enable my multi-output device. Oof. Yeah, second I start the video, I drop from 20 frames per second to 4.5. So I'm not sure how long. Okay, here we go. So, let's see. The game is going. The game is afoot. We are playing Shady. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit at the beginning. He is gonna go out into Iron B, which they said I was very worried about. For those of you that don't know, it's Beedrill with Iron Defense. Oof. Actually, hold on. Since I am gonna be speeding up, I don't think I want to use the in-game noise. I'll just put my own music over this for this week, especially since I just saw how loud it was. So I'm actually going to back up. Alright, sorry about that. That was way too loud. We are going to start off with our Celesteela, as he is going to start off with his Beedrill. So he is just going to U-turn out here. I imagine he's going to U-turn out. I thought about leech seeding, but didn't seem, I don't know. Just didn't do it. For whatever reason, I just didn't do it. Ooh, I need to close out of Discord. This is a very official. The battle is raging on behind me as I try to close out programs to make my computer run faster. Alright, so anyway. Ugh. No, we're just gonna start over. So he is going to Mega with his Beedrill. And go ahead and U-turn out of there. Pretty safe play, just just a safe play in general. He does get a crit there, but it still does no types of damage, so I'm not too worried about it. He is going to go right here into Nepal Tower, the Bronzong, and I am going to throw off the Heavy Slam. So it's at this point I realize that he does not have Levitate. I believe it doesn't. I can't remember off the top of my head right now if it proxies or not. Like when you bring it in, if it says Levitate, but I didn't think he had it based on how he brought it in. He is going to block my Arcanine right here, which is a little bit unfortunate because this is going to allow him to Toxic or whatever. And he's going to switch out. So maybe here I'm thinking, okay, well maybe he is Levitate, because if he was Heat Proof, he could have stayed in there and gotten off an Earthquake or something. But I'm just going to fire off a fat Flare Blitz, and that is going to do decent damage to the Milotic, especially saying because of how defensively bulky it is. But now that he's got that Flame Orb activated, we are not going to be doing any types of damage at all. Since Bronzong switched out, we are not blocked. I'm just going to bounce right out into my Celesteela, because that's obviously the best decision against this Milotic that I have. He could have Ice Beam to hit Goodra, and even though I am Assault Vest, I just feel like this Celesteela has ways of recovering that the Goodra does not. So here I believe I just fire off the Leech Seed, which I do, and he is going to avoid the attack, which is really unfortunate. But here I am actually going to protect and see what he's going to go for, and he is just going to fire off the T-Bolt. So that's fine by me. I can go ahead and switch right out into my Goodra, because that is going to eat this T-Bolt like a nice Sunday brunch. But he actually reveals Shadow Ball, which revealing that he is not revealing that he is not choice locked at all, which is really good information to have. So he's going to bounce right back out into the Nepal Tower as I predict this and go for the Flamethrower, which is, as you can see, going to do 0 damage. So this tells me that he is Heat Proof, specially defensive, which is pretty bad, because I'm not going to be able to knock this thing out on the special side with things like my Goodra. But it is also good because I do have Bulldoze on this Arcanine. So we're going to get that Intimidate off, meaning that Gyro Ball is going to do no damage whatsoever. And we are going to be able to fire off a very free Bulldoze. Sorry, here. So he's going to hard switch right out into Milotic, because we do reveal the Bulldoze here. As I said, I don't have anything to hit this Milotic on the Switch, but lowering its speed is, I guess, nice. It doesn't really outspeed a whole lot of things on my team anyway, but it is just nice to have in general. I'm going to go hard out into Cradilly here, because I don't think there's anything this Milotic can do to me, and he's probably just going to want to recover to keep this thing as safe as possible, especially because he will live a Wild Charge if I did have it. So just getting chip damage on my Arcanine would have been really nice for him, because it threatens a lot of his team. So he's just going to go hard out here into Shaman, as I am just going to set up my Rocks, which is huge because I really needed my Rocks in this game. He is doing a lot of switching, and having my Rocks up and him not having Rocks up is very advantageous to me. So I'm going to bounce right out here into my Goodra, because it's going to take anything this is going to go for. I really wanted to go Celesteela, but I decided against it because I don't have a whole lot I can do damage-wise to this Shaman. I mean, I can Toxic it, but it has Natural Cure, and this early in the game, that's not really going to do a whole lot for me. As he's just going to go right out into Bronzong again, as I am going to fire off another Flamethrower. So again, it's not doing a ton of damage, but it's doing enough damage to chip it down to a range where I can take it out with the Arcanine, or possibly with a neutral move from something else. So I'm going to bounce right back out into my Arcanine here. It's pretty safe. I mean, even if he gyros, that's doing 0 types of damage after the Intimidate, as you'll see. And then we go from 158 to 144, so literally doing 14 damage to my Arcanine. He does get that little bit of leftovers recovery, but he cannot afford to stay in here, as I'm going to hard switch out into my Goodra on the Milotic. So which he actually does end up doubling out into his Milotic. So that was a nice switch to kind of initiate some pressure that I desperately needed, because right now I'm just getting minimal chip, and he has enough recovery across his team to kind of just wear down my team with this Toxic. So he is going to hard withdraw the Milotic here and go into the Bronzong, as I believe I just fire off a Thunderbolt this turn. Yeah, there we go. So I do reveal having Thunderbolt, which is unfortunate because I was really trying to catch the Milotic with that. I figure he might try and stay in and Scald or Ice Beam or something like that, but no matter, as we can just go ahead and hard switch out right back into our Arcanine. I mean, it is proven time and time again to be a great switch. He obviously does not have Earthquake to handle this Arcanine, as he is actually just going to fire off the Hidden Power, which does neutral damage. So I'm actually not sure what kind of Hidden Power that was. Maybe Ice? No, because it wouldn't have done neutral damage. I'm not sure what kind of hidden power that was, but I'm just going to fire off the Flare Blitz here and do a nice chunk of damage, bringing this Milotic down below 50%, especially with the burn. So basically ensuring that this Milotic is going to have to recover this turn, although he makes a smart double switch right out into his Rotom, as I am just going to fire off the Extreme Speed. So that was a nice little check there. I was just extreme speeding to try and keep him low, but he is going to go right out into this Bronzong. So the way he's playing it, I think he might think that I'm choice locked with my Arcanine. I haven't revealed leftovers or anything, and or I don't think I have, at least. But anyway, we're gonna go right back out into Thick. Yeah, I haven't revealed it because I'm the muscle band. Yeah, so he doesn't know what I'm doing. He's just seeing that I'm doing some pretty solid damage. So he might think that I'm getting low rolls on a choice band. So he's playing around the Arcanine in that way. I am just able to Leech Seed up on the Bronzong. If I can get rid of this thing, I'm going to be able to start putting in a lot of work with mons like Goodra. And he's going to reveal the Metal Sound. So that was a little bit worrisome, but seeing how the only move he had to hit me was HP, whatever HP he was. Because as I said, he has Block, he has Hidden Power, he has Metal Sound, and something else. I think maybe Toxic or something like that. But no, Gyro Ball. I'm sorry, he has Gyro Ball. So he doesn't have anything to hit this Celesteela with, but lowering that special defense is going to help a lot. So here we are getting our Leech Seed recovery back all the way back up to full. So we are at -2 defense, but after this Heavy Slam, he is going to be very safely in range of another one. So he is going to Metal Sound again, draw my special defense again, but it's no matter, because since I do outspeed him, I'm going to be able to just fire off a very free Heavy Slam on this turn and knock out the Bronzong after the Leech Seed recovery. And my Celesteela after this 1v1 is 100% totally healthy due to Leech Seed Heavy Slam. It is such a good set, honestly. Like this mon is fantastic. I really am. Like I didn't know how to use it at first, but I'm really liking using this Celesteela. So now I am at +1 defense, but he is very easily going to be able to bring in this Rotom. I am almost entirely brought down on the special defensive side, and I will drop to almost anything he wants to go for. So I just make the safe switch here into Dilly Dally, trying to preserve the health on my Goodra, and he actually reveals Defog. So I was really happy with this switch. I am able to fire off the Stealth Rocks again, as he is just going to withdraw and go right back into this Milotic. So yes, he does get a free recover, but I'm totally fine with him getting that free recover, because it means that I do have the rocks up, and that puts me in a very favorable position. I'm going to switch right back out here into my Celesteela, because now that it does not have the special defense drops, it's going to be able to 1v1 this Milotic fairly easily. Obviously I can't Toxic it, and the Heavy Slam isn't going to be doing a lot, but I can at the very least stall it out of recovers if I want to. But he doesn't want to play that game. He is just going to go straight out in the Shaman, which is a very smart play, seeing as he already knows my moveset. But I am going to anticipate that and just hard switch right out into my Goodra. So pretty happy with that play, as I am going to just fire off a Flamethrower here, I believe, because it hits, or I might have fired off a Draco, I can't remember. No, a Sludge Wave, there we go, yeah, because the Bronzong is gone, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, and that's going to be doing more damage to the Milotic and the Shaman combined. So it just seemed like the smartest play. He is going to switch out here, fearing that I might be faster, and go right into the Rotom, as I am actually going to fire off the Draco Meteor this turn. I'm going to connect, and I am going to get rid of this Rotom. So now Celesteela is looking like it's going to be having a lot of fun in this match, because Not a whole lot on his team is going to be able to take it out now that Rotom is out of the picture. He can't scare me out anymore, which is good because Goodra, one of my main switch-ins to that, is suffering a little bit right now, as he is going to go right out into the Iron Beast. So here I'm just going to hit Flamethrower. I don't want to switch, predicting like this thing is pretty much dead anyway, and as you'll see, because of Gooey, I am going to be able to bring in my Arcanine right after this turn and threaten this Beedrill out or knock it out. And the reason I went for Flamethrower on it was because it would have knocked it out. Anyway, yeah, so here I decide to just try and go for game. I Z-Snatch here, totally forgetting that he had the Shaman. Had I remembered that he had Shaman, I definitely would not have popped this here. I would have just gone for the regular Earthquake or knockoff or something like that. Probably just regular knockoff, but I totally forgot about this thing, so yeah, that's going to do no types of damage. It's just revealing to me that he is definitely Fizz-Def Shaman, and he's just going to get all of that back. So I don't see any way I'm going to be able to pop this Crocodile off again, but I do retreat it anyway, just keeping it for a sack possibly later. Because Boone is a very safe switch in here. I mean, he might have Earth Power, but I needed to know if he had Earth Power, and I have plenty of switches. So as you can see, that's going to do no types of damage. But it does put him up almost at full. So he is going to withdraw here, revealing that he does not have Earth Power to me, because had he had Earth Power, I would have been able to knock him out. And here I did misplay by switching out. I should have just attacked, because that would have probably taken out the Milotic. Flare Blitz into E-Speed with the burn definitely would have knocked it out, and that would have made this game a lot easier. But because I double switched out into Celesteela, he is going to be able to recover back up with this Milotic, as I am just going to Leech Seed onto it and start getting that health back. Even though I don't have any gone, anything he goes for, even if he burns me, etc, etc, it's just nice to have the Leech Seed on this thing. So I'm actually going to switch Hard out into Glade at this point. I figured he might try to switch here, and if he doesn't, he would just recover, and looking very nice, because that is just going to enable me to start setting up a bulk up or going for an attack. So he is out of range of close combat at where he he is out of range at close combat where he's at, so I am just going to fire off the bulk up, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I didn't think he hasn't scalded yet, so I don't know if he has it, but if he does have it, I was just basically gambling that I didn't get burned, and I didn't think that I needed this Glade to win. As you can see, we don't get the burn, we take that Scald very well, and we get the Leech Seed recovery back up, putting us basically in range to knock this thing out with the close combat, or so I thought. Turns out he has a little bit more defensive investment than I was calculating for, and he is going to live on barely any health at all, get off the Scald, and that's going to bring us down to 69% and burn us. So definitely unfortunate, because as you can see, that Leech Seed is going to take it out. Even if we had not gotten burned there, we would have been in a much better position, because we are going to be able to live any hit from the bee at that point. But this thing is a whole different story entirely. We are not going to be able to live an attack from this. So I am just going to hard switch out into my Cradily. This was the dedicated Swellow switch in. And as you can see from this damage, it is a pretty solid one, because that did absolutely nothing. And I am going to be able to just fire off a Giga Drain here, I believe is what I do. Let's see. No, I recovered. Yeah. Okay, so the reason I recovered there was because I was thinking about my Celesteela, which has Toxic in the 4th slot, and I clicked it wanting to go for Toxic, but I clicked Recover instead, and obviously you can't cancel your moves, so that was the reason. I didn't plan on recovering there. I wanted to Toxic this thing on the switch in, but unfortunately that's not how it went. So seeing as how he went for Toxic last time and missed, I imagine he would probably do it again, so I'm just going to go hard Celesteela, because honestly I don't think this thing can do a whole lot to me until he reveals the Leech Seed. I cannot Leech Seed him in return, but I can get this Toxic off and start wearing him down with Heavy Slam combined with Toxic, and I don't really need this Celesteela for too much more anyway. It was definitely more defensively invested, as you saw by getting the defense boost, so it doesn't really have a whole lot to say to a Heat Wave from Swellow, as Shaman is going to Hidden Power here, Hidden Power Fire, but that does no types of damage. We are able to get off a huge Heavy Slam, doing a ton of damage to this Shaman, and I believe even with the Leech Seed and the, I think maybe leftovers, no leftovers, even after the Leech Seed, there's really not a whole lot he's going to be able to do to me, as I am just going to hard switch out into my Arcanine to take the whatever the HP Fire he's going for. keeping my Celesteela as healthy as possible, and yeah, so that does absolutely no types of damage. And also, after this toxic damage, I am actually going to be able to knock this thing out with the E-Speed, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it here. Oh, so I thought, as I said, this thing is a lot more defensively invested. He's going to Giga Drain up and get a little bit of health back, but after the toxic, he is just going to fall, so not bad at all. Arcanine putting in a lot of work this week, as he is going to go hard out into Swellow again. So here, in my mind, all I have to do is just get this thing worn down. So I'm going to go right here in a dilly-dally and just try and fire off Giga Drains, because that seemed like the best thing to do in the situation would just be to fire off Giga Drains and etc, etc. And he is going to Boom Burst, and as you're going to see, that is going to do nothing to this Cradilly. Absolutely nothing. While that Giga Drain did about as much as that Boom Burst did, and we were going to get most of that damage back with our leftovers combined with the Giga Drain recovery. So I'm really happy with how Cradilly played out this week. He is going to Boom Burst again, as going to start bringing us down a little bit. I'm going to Giga Drain one more time, bringing him down to 1%. And here, I know that Boom Burst goes through sub, but I was actually trying to sack the Cradilly because I did not want to give him an opportunity to set up with Beedrill. I have nothing on this set to do anything to Beedrill with. So I decided to sack off the Cradilly so that I could safely bring in the Arcanine and sweep with E-Speed. So I'm just going to throw up the sub here. Also prompting him to attack me, just so that he couldn't get this Beedrill in. I didn't want this Beedrill in on the Cradilly, because if he was a setup variant with Iron Defense or something like that, he would be able to very easily set up on it. So I'm going to go right out here into Arcanine. The Intimidate does not matter, because we're just going to knock this thing out with E-Speed. And very, very clean. Beautiful, beautiful. So now all he has left is the Iron Beam. And after it takes rocks damage, it is going to be in range of our E-Speed. So we're going to click E-Speed, knock it out, and take a 4-0 victory against the Buffalo Drills for our second win in the IBL. So great game to Shady. I feel like I had good prep this week. I had a good matchup against the Pokemon that he brought. Definitely a really good match. I was worried about this match because I'm not as experienced with playing slow, fat players. I don't want to say that he plays stall, because he really doesn't. I wouldn't call this stall what he brought, but it's definitely fat and it's hard to break. So I felt like I brought the right breakers that I needed to. I brought the breakers in at the times they needed to be brought in, and I'm really happy with overall how this match played out. Obviously, because it did play out in my favor. So again, great game to Shady. Really, really happy with Goodra. Really, really happy with Celesteela. Really happy with Arcanine. Disappointed in myself. Really happy with Cradilly. Disappointed in myself with Crocodile. That Crocodile set could have put in a lot of more work if I had just played a little smarter with the Shaman. But not a big deal. Obviously, we still did secure the 4-0 victory. Next week, we are going to be playing Wmar, I believe. No, we play Kurt. We play Kurt next week, and then we play Wmar, and then we play Brendan, and then I can't remember the last two people that we play. I believe we play FlameHorizon for one of those games, but the last game is a little bit of a mystery to me. I cannot remember off the top of my head. So definitely hoping to grab a few wins. I mean, obviously we are 2-6 right now, and it seems like most of the people across all the different divisions in the IBL, like we have a couple of people at the top, like Matt, who are just dominating, but there are a huge amount of people hovering at 3-4, 4-3, 2-6, 5, you know, whatever that math is, you guys know. A lot of people hovering around the middle. So if we can win out, I actually do think we might have a chance at playoffs. Don't quote me on that, because I haven't done the math. I don't know statistically what our chances of making playoffs are, but I believe if we win out and keep winning out with good differential, that it's going to be a lot easier to secure that bag and make it into the playoffs. So hope y'all enjoyed this match. It's 25 minutes, a little bit longer than we usually do, but you know, we commentate the games. That's all we can do. I'm glad I did speed it up, or else it would have been a lot longer. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy. I will see you guys next time. Peace.